What is the thing that we can learn from the life of Jesus? In the beginning, Jesus was preaching in the synagogues, and later on, he began his ministry. Began his ministry on the open field. Open field. He was preaching on the bank of the sea. He was preaching on the mountain, and then his preaching was going on the streets, and then like that, he began his ministry. So as he was preaching to the people at the bank of the sea, so there, as he was preaching them, then he has to make sure that he keeps them interested to listen to his preaching. If he is preaching in the synagogue, that is like, so they have to be there for the service till the service gets over. So for the sake of the service also, people can be there in synagogue listening to what Jesus was doing. But Jesus was not like that. Whatever that he was doing or teaching, so there is an interest being created amongst people, amongst the crowd who are gathering there and listening to him. So, like that only, on the bank of the sea, he used to preach them and he used to teach them, give them life, and then give them some guidance for their fruitful life, and tell them about parables. Through parables, he used to narrate them something related to their own lifestyle, their own way of living. So people like to listen to stories. People like to listen to stories in a way if it is being said. Not just that everyone can say the story and people listen to it. No. But even now there are people who in such a way tell the story and keep the audience interested in listening to their speech. I remember one of the person who used to give a story. you know he has that gift of telling the story such a way, though it is not real, but he will tell the story or narrate the story such a way that seems to be real. Very, very funny. He was from Kerala. His name is Robin. So this person, so whenever he says the story, it will be interesting to listen to, with lots of fun and jovial gestures, body language, and so on. So like that, he used to say a story. So similarly, I am not going to tell a story because there should be some interesting thing. There is a way of telling a story that will keep interested. So that person, like that, there are people who can narrate a story such a way, their own life story or fictional stories in such a way that they can keep the audience to be interested to listen to them. And similarly, Jesus also was doing the same thing in his lifetime, narrating a parable and based on their lifestyle of the people. And that's how, he keep them interested and he helped them. So what we can learn from Jesus's life, many things we can learn, because one thing I want to tell that is, every person experiences something about God. Maybe some may not experience it, or some may not be aware of it, but there is an experience of God that people feel it and thirst for it and so on. That experience, once they receive it, once they feel it, so something unique to that person alone, not to everybody. The way God is revealing himself to you is different than the way he reveals to me. So there is a lot of differences, uniqueness in the way we experience God. So for that reason, since I have experienced God in this way, this is what God experienced. This is what the God experience would be. No, we cannot conclude like that, because He's beyond everything. He's beyond everything. You can see how big the sea is, but sea is smaller in the sight of God. In the sight of God, it is very smaller thing, small amount of water for God. So it is beyond everything, dear friends. God's experience cannot be fully felt by humans, but human experience not even a part of God experience, little even in the very little, very little. That's how uh, we experience God. We experience God in our day-to-day life. So, dear friends, but what we have to do is we have to share that with others, dear friends. So, as we experience God in our lives, no, let us be a person to uh, let us be a person to make people realize the presence of God in us. Let us bring God's presence to the people, whomever we meet, whomever we talk, whomever we relate with. So in that way, we can we can be a preacher, we can be a teacher, we can be a life giver to the others, dear friends. Thank you.